Okay, so do your Etsy listings suck? What can you do about it? After putting up thousands of my own listings and helping hundreds of other Etsy sellers with their listings, I've learned a lot about what to do in order to make listings that don't suck, that get traffic, that get sales, that get all the things that we want to get. Today, I want to share how to create good listings and fix bad listings in 3 simple steps that I call the Etsy listing success formula. And if you don't know who this bald dude is talking to you about Etsy, I'm LL. Nice to meet you. I help other Etsy sellers start, build, and grow their businesses so they can get closer to their goals faster. All right, let's dive into these 3 steps so you can start to implement them into your shop. The first and most valuable step is research. Doing the proper research to give yourself the best chance of success. This is where you should spend 80% of your time because it's the most important. This is the lion's share of the work that is needed up front so that you don't waste time later. Because if you don't do this work and this legwork up front, which is not the most fun thing to do, I get it, then you're going to be wasting time creating listings that don't sell, that don't perform later. So you can help avoid that and at least give yourself a better chance of success by doing this research in the beginning. So what actually am I talking about? What do you research? Well, the main thing that you want to research is the demand of your product or the subject matter or niche that you're about to sell and the keywords necessary to put into that listing to make sure that there are keywords that you can use that have decent demand or high demand, and that you can put your product in front of those potential buyers with the appropriate keywords. So it's about making sure that there is a demand, because if there's no demand, you're never going to sell. It doesn't matter how awesome your product is. If no one's searching for it or wanting to buy it, then you're never going to sell it. And then B, making sure you're using the correct keywords so that you can at least give yourself a potential chance at getting the sale, because you're going to, those keywords at a fundamental level are helping get your listing seen to the potential audience that is going to buy it. So I recommend using a tool like Alura. There is a link below where you can get a free trial to test this out so that you can do product research, you can do demand research, you can do niche research, you can do keyword research to make sure that you or at least have the best information possible. The other thing that you want to use this for is competition. So you want to use either Etsy or Alura to research your competition. Who else is selling your items? What are they selling? But this is not to feel bad about yourself or get down on yourself because of how well they're doing. First of all, if they're doing well, that means you can do well too. So that's a good thing. That's great. A lot of people are like, well, they're doing well, I'll never be able to do that. No, don't think about it like that. Don't get down on yourself. We're using this as a tool to better ourselves. So if they're doing well, you can do the same thing. But more importantly, we want to use this information to our advantage and find out how can you make a better wheel. Look at your competition. See what they're doing. See how they're setting up their listings, their pictures, their descriptions. How can you do even better than they are? How can you make a better wheel? Because more than not, you're not going to have something brand new. You may have a different spin on it, a different flavor, a different style, but the product is the product. But how can you make yours better? How can you add more value? You write this down. Look at their listing and be like, how can I make this better? They're already doing well. How can you make it better? And then you do that with your stuff. What can you do that they're not doing? This can also help you justify higher pricing. If they're getting a decent amount of sales and you have your product that is similar but different, but you're doing extra things to make it better, then that helps you justify even higher pricing that you can put into your product. And you put that in your description, your listing, and showcase those things that you're doing that other people aren't doing. So this is the reason, and think about it from a big box store. Why do people choose Starbucks over Dunkin' or choose Target over Walmart? Those are pretty much the same style, offer the same the same type of products, but they're different. Starbucks is higher quality than Dunkin'. Target is higher quality than Walmart. And they do things to represent that in what they sell, even though their stuff is more expensive. All right, that brings us to the second step, which is completing your listing. So once you do that initial research, the initial legwork, the initial groundwork, you want to put that information into getting your listings completed. You should spend about 15% of your time in this area. And this is really what's going to help your listings perform, is how you complete your listings with the information that you got in step one. So the listings give a complete picture for not only the buyer, but for the algorithm. So the information that you're putting in there helps the algorithm see who you're trying to target, what kind of traffic you're trying to get, what type of audience you're trying to serve. So if you miss parts of your listings, it's like trying to sell a car with no radio or bad brakes or has engine trouble. So this definitely is going to decrease the price of the car that you're trying to sell, but it's also going to prevent it in many ways from being sold. The same things happen with your listings if you miss parts of your listings or don't spend enough time on parts of your listings. So it's better to get it right off the bat than to have to go back and clean this stuff up, fix it, and try to get a bad listing to perform better. So what am I talking about here? So fill out all of your listing sections, your pictures, make sure you have good quality, visually appealing pictures with good lighting. Your descriptions, make sure you have a solid description, not just 3 words or 1 sentence in your description. All of your attributes in your listing, your titles, your tags. But that's only part of it. You must use every opportunity to get found by providing as much data as possible for the algorithm, but good data. So meaning high quality keywords. Back to step one, what you found and did the research on with step one. The correct attributes, the attributes that apply, that help you get found. If you don't have attributes, you could get filtered out when people are searching for your stuff. If you don't put in the occasion, you don't put in what style it is, those things could filter you out, but it also helps you get found as well. Thorough keyword rich description. So your keyword that you're using in your description also helps you get found, more so than people actually reading it. So don't slack on your description just because you think people aren't going to read it. Yeah, sure, a lot of people aren't going to read it, but it's more for the algorithm to see what keywords are in there, but you still want to present it in a way that's for humans. Break it out into sections, have naturally flowing rich keywords in there that explain your item, who it's for, why they should buy it, value elements in there, anything about your item, washing instructions, specs, all the appropriate stuff that if someone's on the fence is going to help them buy it. And if your item is more higher price than your competition, justify why that is in the description. Talk about it. Talk about the detail that goes into making it. Talk about that it's handmade, that it's handcrafted, individually designed, one of a kind. Those type of things will help set you apart from the competition. This brings us to kind of taking this even a step further with your listings. And this is what sellers often miss, is kind of the added bits of data that kind of take your listings to the next level. And this is stuff like, adding alt text in your pictures, which is that line of information describing what your picture is that plays into SEO and helping you get found. Using backlinks in your descriptions that helps buyers, that helps curate their experience better for them, that helps them find related products or similar products related to what they're already looking at, helps them stay in your shop, bounce to other listings, be engaged with other listings, and helps your overall shop grow and get more traffic and sales. Adding variation options, if applicable, helps the buyer experience, giving them more options, but also more keywords in your listings. Adding personalization, again, giving buyers more options, but also more keywords in your listings for SEO. Adding shop sections to curate your listings. Also, those act as mini landing pages, so it helps curate it for the buyer, but it also helps the algorithm see additional keywords, additional sections. So all those things kind of play into completing your listings, giving the full picture to buyers and the algorithm to help give you the best chance of success. So step one, do the research. Step two, complete the listings with the research that you got, but also taking your listings to the next level. That brings us to step three. That is analyze and adjust your listings. So I know you may do those step two, the first 2 steps, and your listings may not perform, which usually happens until you do this enough. You're not going to hit a home run every time. In fact, you're going to only hit a home run probably 20% of the time. 20% of your listings account for most of your revenue, about 80%, according to the 80-20 rule, which is real. So most of your listings aren't going to do well, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. They will still help your overall shop grow. So what I'm saying is, with the listings that don't perform, you need to analyze and adjust them. And you spend about 5% of your time doing this, because they're going to have to be up for a while before you decide to try and tweak them and bring them back. So let's talk about the things that you can look at and how you can adjust your listings. And this, I want to warn you to be careful with this step, because this is the other mistake that people make, is they will fix their listings and adjust their listings too much, and this can hurt you. So you need to let your listing go for a while, and I'm going to talk about this more before you make any tweaks. If you put up a listing, it doesn't perform in a week, tweak it. It doesn't perform in another week, tweak it. It's going to hurt your listing more than help it. So patience is key with this. Impatience is a listing killer, so you have to be careful. So inside the Etsy Games VIP program, I do a deep dive into this and show you exactly when and how to adjust your listings. And if you're interested in checking out more of the VIP program, make sure you put games in the comments section of this if you're watching on YouTube, and I'll send you more information on that program. But to keep things simple and quick, I'm going to give you a few key points to help you now and be able to tell you how to tweak your listings and how to implement this. So the first, like I was saying earlier, is not to make too many changes too fast. So you need to wait 1 to 2 renewal cycles, which is 4 to 8 months, to see how a listing is going to perform before considering changing it. And this is hard for a lot of people to do. It doesn't mean that you're going to do nothing in the meantime. There's plenty of other stuff that you can work on. The second thing that you need to do is, once it's time, those 4 to 8 months pass, you need to use information in your listings to make data-driven decisions and not just do stuff by the seat of your pants. So here's what I mean by this. So your stats inside your listing can guide you and give you breadcrumbs on what to do, what to tweak, what changes to make to try and get your listing to perform better. Here's a specific example. So at a baseline level, the average conversion rate for people on Etsy, and this varies between niche and cost and all those things, but the average conversion rate is about 1%, meaning that for every 100 visits, that is 1 sale. So if you, after 100 visits, you get 1 sale, that's a 1% conversion rate. So some people are better, some people are worse, but that's going to be our baseline for this example. So if after 4 to 8 months you have low visits, far under 100, let's just say you have 20 visits, then you know there's probably an SEO problem or probably a picture problem, because people are just not clicking into your listing. With only 20 visits after 4 to 8 months, that's not many people clicking into your listing. So they're definitely not buying. But we know that they're not buying because there's just not enough potential traffic for them to prompt them to buy. We need more eyes in front of what we're trying to sell. So we either A, need to change our keywords to get it in front of more people that are going to click into our listing, or B, change our pictures so more people click into our listing. It's hard to say. I should say it's not that hard to say which one you should focus on, because you can usually see, okay, look at your pictures, look at your competition's pictures, which is better? Are your pictures blurry, hard to see, crop too much or too little? Does your pictures pop out? If your pictures are good, then it's probably an SEO problem. You're not getting too many opportunities to be found. There's just not enough times where your listing is showing up. Therefore, people aren't clicking into it because it's not showing up enough in search. So then we know, okay, we have to fix our keywords in our listing. We have to change our title, we have to change our tags, change the arrangement of the keywords, change the keywords themselves, the combination of keywords. There's a variety of things that you can do to test this and try and tweak your listing and to bring it back. So you make those changes after 4 to 8 months, and then you let it ride another month or two to see, okay, did the traffic increase? Did I get sales? Did the changes I made actually work? If no, then we have to go back to the drawing board again and make changes again based on what the stats tell us. Now, if you made those changes and now all of a sudden we have 150 visits but no sales, okay, we made the right SEO change or the right picture change because now we're getting the traffic, but now it's a conversion problem. Now people aren't buying our stuff. So now it could be a variety of other things. It could be the wrong audience. People are finding it, clicking into it, and it's confusing to them. It's the wrong audience. the pricing's too high, there's something that doesn't make sense in the listing, they don't trust us enough. It could be there's no reviews, there's not enough social proof, we're not giving enough reason to buy, we're not giving urgency, scarcity. So there's a lot of different things on the back end of that, but initially mostly you're going to have the problem of traffic and sales, and that's how you can kind of attack it the most up front. So those are the 3 steps. That'll give you a good starting point to make sure that A, you're giving yourself the best chance of success, and then B, you're following up to then prompt more success by making those necessary tweaks and necessary changes. So hopefully that helps you guys out. If you guys want more great strategies to help you with your Etsy shop, make sure you're checking out this video up here, but I'll be back soon with some more good stuff for you. Have an amazing rest of your day.